Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the show. Today we're doing the Everton recap for the overnight match against Manchester City, and it was a 3-0 loss. Look, Manchester City are just a class above. You look at skill level, you look at organisation. They're very similar to Liverpool in the sense that, they can bring in their resis and they're able to make a better impact than some of the better teams in the league, and they showed that. They won 3-0 very convincingly, dominated pretty much for the entire game, and even though we have a lot of injuries, the way we came out and the attitude that we had was fairly disappointing. I think we'll just dive right into the man of the match. There obviously weren't too many highlights, but I'm going to give my man of the match to Anthony Gordon. He has been my man of the match a couple times this year. Andros Townsend is a close second. I think Townsend was pretty good in terms of, we had very few chances, but he seemed to be the guy that was pioneering all of our charges towards any chances of us, having shots on goal. But I give it to Anthony Gordon. There were a lot of times, especially in the first half, where, the bigger Manchester City player on the far side or the near side, because obviously he switched sides, seeing Demarai Gray went out, but he was really good in terms of pressing the Manchester City defenders. Obviously, it would usually be one of our fullbacks that was, trying to hold account for these Manchester City wingers, but Gordon was able to put his foot in. He probably was the guy to rack up the most tackles, successful tackles. But look, I think that was the problem with us. Even the commentators have said it, we weren't really pressing. We were very standoffish, and that is why we ultimately got peppered, and Manchester City were able to get goals on the board, and we weren't able to. We barely had a sniff. And look, Manchester City, they are overwhelming. They press up the pitch for 45 minutes consistently, and that just says a lot about their fitness. But we weren't really showing any intent in stopping that at all. You look at the possession stats, 80% possession for Man City, and we probably had 2 or 3 shots in the first half in comparison to maybe 8. But look, we should be very lucky, or we should have considered ourselves very lucky to only be down 1-0 at the half. Obviously, the disallowed penalty, I believe, was there another disallowed shot on goal? There were a couple of chances they had. But, yeah, look, we weren't really doing anything to help our cause because we were standing back. We're allowing these Manchester City people to, or players to have opportunities, plenty of opportunities in getting the ball into the box. Sometimes it wouldn't be successful, but the more opportunities you give, the more chance there is of there being success, and there was success at the very end of the first half. Don't get me wrong, the Manchester City goals and how they were able to manufacture them, some of them were outrageous. The Rodrigo goal, or Rodri, that goal was absolutely nuts from outside the box. My jaw dropped to the ground fully, because it really woke me up, considering it was 2 o'clock in the morning when I watched that game. Even the Cancelo assist for Raheem Sterling, the finish as well, half volley. But you can just tell this team is a class above everyone else, because I think there was like a cross-court pass, that's basketball terms, but a cross-pitch pass from one side to the other, and Phil Foden was able to control that ball, and it didn't get away from him at all. There were like a couple times where they were able to manipulate the ball, get it around the defender. It was just really weird and wacky, but they were able to do it. And that is the separation, much cleaner. For us, we were very tacky, very slow on the ball. We weren't quick enough in getting it through. Perhaps we would have had more opportunities if we were quicker, more reactive, but we weren't. And Manchester City's defence up the pitch was very overwhelming, and that's how they were able to get the ball back so many times. And Jordan Pickford as well, a lot of times we would pass the ball back to him, and he'd be in a really weird position because you don't really know what to do with it. Manchester City are pressing you, so do you pass it, 10 or 15 yards, and it doesn't go anywhere, but we still have possession, or you just get it out of there, because Manchester City are so overwhelming. They cause turnover, and, if we didn't get rid of it, there could have been some significant issues. But yeah, it's really disappointing. And then on top, the situation we are faced with now is really worrying. Demarai Gray is now out injured, which means I have to deal with some more Alex Iwobi football, which is just a pain in the ass, right? First and foremost, pain in the ass. Richarlison, second yellow card, he's suspended, so we won't be seeing him next week. And that means I have to deal with some more Rondon football. This is the problem, though. These guys have proven themselves enough, or lack of proving themselves. You know, we know they're shit. So play the kids. I mean, there's nothing left to lose at this point. You want to be exposing these guys and giving them experience. I mean, Manchester City have a bit more flexibility, a bit more luxury in what they can do with their squad. Like, you look, they played Cole Palmer today. I think he's an 18-year-old. That was his debut in the starting 11. Why can't we do that with Alice Sims? He signed a contract in the middle of the week. Why did he not come on for a run, a 15-minute run in this match instead of Rondon? Rondon hasn't shown anything. The game was gone. There's really no gains. Give the young kids some experience. You've given them this contract, so you obviously see something in them, but you're not playing them. It doesn't make any logical sense to me. I'm willing to let Rafa Benitez off the hook because, admittedly, we have injuries. You can't really do much with this team. But in saying that, you know, we've got to have an attitude, and it's got to translate across the whole team. No matter what formation we run, no matter what game plan we run, there's got to be attitude, there's got to be drive, there's got to be willingness to win. And we didn't really see that today. There wasn't really a willingness to push the ball forward. It was really passive play. And, you know, ultimately we got exposed for it because we barely had the ball. Going back to Anthony Gordon, though, as I said, you know, we needed to put enough pressure on Manchester City's defenders. We saw Crystal Palace do it. I think they won 3-0 against City, which is just mind-boggling if you think about it, away from home. But we needed to panic them a little bit more. And there was no intent to do that. Anthony Gordon was the only one that would press the Manchester City defenders, get them a little worried, and we were able to win the ball back. But then you move 20 yards forward, and there's nowhere to go. Because we were too slow, and Manchester City are well set. So, look, as I said, I didn't even watch the full game because I knew this game was gone at about the 70th minute. But, you know, we got to see more. We've got to see more. And it is a horror stretch coming up. I think we've got Brentford next week. Thank God it's only Brentford, but then again, it is Brentford. I would not be surprised if we lose. But the next 6 games are ridiculously tough. Palace, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. And we could be staring down the barrel of 10 defeats in the season, halfway through the season, once this run ends. I mean, Doucouré still weeks off. Calvert-Lewin still weeks off. Mina, I don't know how close he is. Gomez, I don't know how close he is. Gray's going to be out. Davies is out injured. I don't even know what's going on in the injury department. Are we not conditioning our players well enough? You see what Manchester City were able to do fitness level wise. Why can't we do that? Why are we getting injuries and not even trying our hearts out? I'll give credit to some players, as previously mentioned. Townsend, Gray probably looked the best before he went off. Gordon plays for the jumper, and it's very obvious he does. But yeah, then there's some players that are just half-assed and they don't, well, they're just careless. They're really careless. But look, it is what it is. We've got a lot to work on. We can't keep doing this because that was pretty much what we saw last season. We were happy to play passive and then beat teams on the counter. And I get that you have to do that with teams like City, especially when you're undermanned. But at the same time, it's just shithouse to watch. And you're not putting yourself in a position to win games. You can't go into games saying, I'm going to draw this, I'm going to settle for a draw. Because then once you go a goal down, your whole plan's flawed. So, it is what it is. Brentford next week, it's going to be damn tough. Especially with even more outs as a result of the game that we just played today. But, you know, in saying that, it's all about the attitude. It's about how we carry ourselves. It's about the willingness to win. And then I can see some more results. But, you know, especially with players like Rondon, Iwobi in the team, we're not going to get too far. So, we just got to cry out for these players to come back. that would be in our best 11, because we've got a lot of problems and we need to sort them out fast. So Rafa will not be listening to this, but Rafa, we need an answer. We need a plan. We need something. Give us something, basically. And honestly, what I've said today is probably the nicest way I could put it, because I could be really outraged right now with what you're doing in terms of managing young players and whatnot. You know, the game plan is just not there. We don't have any direction or focus at the moment. We haven't won a game in our last 6. Only 2 points from our last 18 possible points, I believe. So, yeah, we've got to work shit out and work it out fast. But that's going to be it. Make sure to share your thoughts in the comments, and we will be back here for the game against Brentford this time next week. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day. Peace out.